Here are two matrices. The first one has all entries equal to 1/2. The second one has a 1 in the top left corner and the zeros everywhere else. They look completely different, but they describe the exact same operation, projecting vectors onto the 45-degree line. So which one is the matrix of that projection? Neither. And that's the secret hiding inside every matrix you've ever seen. A linear transformation, capital T, sends vectors from one space to another. The transformation itself is geometric. It doesn't care about coordinates. But to actually compute with it, we need numbers. That means choosing a basis for the input space and a basis for the output space. A basis is just a set of vectors that lets us write every other vector as a combination of them. Once those two choices are locked in, the transformation becomes a matrix. Change the basis and you change the matrix, but the transformation underneath stays the same. Here is the rule that builds every matrix. Take each input basis vector, apply T to it, and write the result in coordinates of the output basis. Those coordinates become the columns of your matrix. The jth column is T applied to V sub j, expressed in the W basis. That's it. Where do the basis vectors go? Read off the answer. That's your matrix. The shape follows automatically. Output dimension rows, input dimension columns. Square matrices are not required. They're simply the special case where the input and output spaces happen to have the same dimension. Why does this work? Multiply A by the column vector with a 1 on top and the zeros everywhere else. That picks out column 1 of A. By construction, column 1 is the coordinate vector of T applied to V1. So the matrix agrees with T on the first basis vector. Linearity handles the rest. Every input vector is a combination of basis vectors, and T respects combinations. Match T on a basis and you match T everywhere. The matrix and the transformation become interchangeable once we work in coordinates. Let's run the rule on the projection onto the 45-degree line. First, we choose a smart basis. Let V1 point along the line itself and the V2 point perpendicular to it. Projection onto the line leaves V1 untouched, so T of V1 equals V1. In this basis, that's 1 times V1 plus 0 times V2. So column 1 is 1, 0. The perpendicular vector gets crushed to the origin. T of V2 equals 0. In coordinates, that's 0 times V1 plus 0 times V2. Column 2 is 0, 0. Putting the columns together, the matrix is 1, 0, 0, 0, a diagonal matrix. The diagonal entries, 1 and 0, are the eigenvalues of the projection. This basis made the transformation transparent. Each axis simply gets scaled. Same transformation, but a different basis. This time we use the standard basis. E1 equals 1, 0, and E2 equals 0, 1. Project E1 onto the 45-degree line. The projection lands at 1/2, 1/2. That becomes column 1 of the matrix. Now project E2. By symmetry, it also lands at 1/2, 1/2. That becomes column 2. So the matrix is 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. Every entry is 1/2. Same projection, same geometric action. But the matrix looks completely different. It's symmetric, not diagonal, and it has non-zero off-diagonal entries. Let's check. This matrix squared should equal itself because any projection must satisfy p squared equals p. Squaring gives 1/4 times the matrix 2, 2, 2, 2, which simplifies back to 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. It checks out. 2 matrices, 1 transformation. The basis you choose decides which face the matrix shows you. Place them side by side. The eigenvector basis gives a clean diagonal, 1 and 0 on the diagonal, with the eigenvalues exposed for all to see. The standard basis gives the symmetric form, with that telltale property of projections. Squaring, it returns itself. Both matrices act on vectors and project them onto the line. They are connected by a change of basis transformation, but neither is more correct than the other. Eigenvectors aren't an exotic trick. They're the natural axis where a transformation finally tells you what it really does. Now the surprise. The same rule works for the derivative. Take polynomials of degree at most 2. The input space has bases 1, x, and x squared, 3 dimensions. The output, after differentiating, has degree at most 1, basis 1 and x, 2 dimensions. So the matrix will be 2 by 3. Apply d by dx to each input basis vector. The derivative of 1 is 0, so column 1 is 0, 0. The derivative of x is 1, which in the output basis is 1 times 1 plus 0 times s, so column 2 is 1, 0. The derivative of x squared is 2x, which is 0 times 1 plus 2 times x, so column 3 is 0, 2. Stack the columns, 0, 1, 0 on top, 0, 0, 2 on the bottom. Let's test it. Take the polynomial 5 plus 3x plus 4x squared. Its coordinates in the input basis are 5, 3, 4. Now multiply the matrix by this column. Row 1 gives 0 times 5 plus 1 times 3 plus 0 times 4, which equals 3. Row 2 gives 0 times 5 plus 0 times 3 plus 2 times 4, which equals 8. So the output coordinates are 3 and 8. Translating back to a polynomial, that's 3 times 1 plus 8 times x, which is 3 plus 8x, and sure enough, the derivative of 5 plus 3x plus 4x squared is indeed 3 plus 8x. Here's the payoff. The column rule tells us why matrix multiplication is defined the way it is. Suppose T goes from U to V with matrix A and S goes from V to W with matrix B. The composition S after T sends each input first through A, then through B. The matrix of the composition is B times A. Composing transformations is the same as multiplying matrices. That bizarre row times column formula isn't arbitrary. It's forced by function composition. And undoing a transformation corresponds to the inverse matrix. The structure of matrix algebra is the structure of how functions chain together. Linear algebra and function composition are the same idea wearing different clothes. One rule, 3 lessons. First, a matrix is not a transformation. It's a transformation wearing the clothes of a chosen basis. Change the clothes and you change the matrix. Second, eigenvectors give the cleanest clothes, putting the eigenvalues right on the diagonal and exposing what the transformation actually does. Third, calculus works because differentiation is linear. Once you know the derivative on the basis 1, x, x squared, and so on, linearity hands you the derivative of every polynomial for free. Projections, rotations, derivatives, integrals, all of it lives under a single recipe. Apply T to the basis vectors, write the answers in coordinates, stack them as columns. That's the matrix.